What happened?
I just put my foot on your couch.
Ooh, someone's in trouble. I like how the different amount of clothes we're both wearing. Like, I'm wearing at least 90% more clothes than you.
Well, I mean, when your body looks this good.
I got to keep most of it covered up. That's where I'm at. This
No,
quarantine point.
But you're always cold. And I'm always yelling at you to put more clothes on instead of turning the heat on. And I'm just hot all the time.
I mean, you run hot on stage. I think it was ever since you got that flame tattoo on your vagina.
Fire all
You've
the
been
time.
running the burning in the belly.
It's like the furnace. That's where you light it.
And so, I bring the match. Doesn't really say much for size, but gets the job done. Gets that fire going.
Damn straight.
All right. So this was the headline was 93-year-old woman gets 150 cans of beer delivered to her door after viral plea for more beer. Pennsylvania native Olive.
Wait. Pennsylvania native that now lives in Florida.
So the Seminole, Pennsylvania resident is staying home during the coronavirus pandemic and is unable to pick up more beer herself because she's 93 years old. So a relative of hers snapped a photo of her asking for additional supplies by holding up a dry erase board that read, "I need more beer."
Also, because I just think that relatives like, Grandma, I bought you so much beer already. I'm done. Like,
In the photo, she was smiling wide and holding a can of Coors Light behind a closed glass door. She says, "I have a beer every night. Something to relax, and I think it's nice. Something for a young lady."
love this woman.
But when I was reading this article, what it started making me think about was we did a thing with vitamin water many years ago, 8 years ago, who knows? And so we did a show for vitamin water in Oregon.
Boring, Oregon.
And
Not that Oregon's boring. The name of the town is Boring.
but part of the deal was like there's some fine print of we will give you vitamin water. And I don't think any other bands followed up on that bit of fine print. But Kim,
I'm cheap, man.
she's like, "Yo, where's this vitamin water at?" And after she did it, we ended up starting to get like 4 cases of like 200 bottles. Like 200 cans. Like
Did
200
you smoke weed before
like
this?
200 bottles of
You say 200, and I'll say bottles. I'll say it for you. Go.
Kim, I can't do this.
Okay, go.
So, yeah, full disclosure, I have I was in such a good mood yesterday after the same recipe. And now I'm like, oh, crap, maybe I have to focus more when doing this. But I've been thinking a lot about Joe Rogan, and that dude's always high when he's doing his podcast because he just sold the exclusive rights of his podcast for $100 million to Spotify.
I just love we can't stay on topic. Okay.
Do we need to stay on topic?
200 bottles. Is that what you were going to say?
I was saying
200
4
bottles?
cases, right?
Yeah.
48 bottles in a case.
Oh,
or
I have no
24
idea.
Bottles?
I have no idea.
So basically, like 100, so like 2 cases. So
I wish I could get high. I want to feel what you're feeling right now.
so like 4 cases showed up to our house, and that's so like 100 bottles show up. That happened once, and it was kind of cool. And then it happened again. We're like, oh, cool. And then it happened again, and it just kept happening every couple weeks for pretty much ever. And then we just had piles and piles of vitamin water in our basement. People would come over, we'd make them take cases with them, and then we couldn't figure out how to make it stop. We were like on the delivery route for
There were times where we were on tour and I'd have to call a neighbor and be like, they left them outside our house. Can you go get them? And like, give them to anyone.
So this article, though, it did finish with,
Oh my God, is she on a forever loop?
if she ever runs out again, Molson Coors said it has her covered. We're starting out with plenty of Coors Light, but we're also let Olive and her family know that they have a standing offer for more Coors Light whenever they're ready. So I'm just saying, party at this 93-year-old woman's house in Seminole, Pennsylvania. 2 men robbed convenience store wearing watermelon rind disguises. Police took to social media on Saturday in hopes of finding 2 men accused of robbing a convenience store on May 6th with watermelon rinds over their heads. So what I've been thinking about lately is, because everyone's wearing these masks and they're putting on glasses and you have a hat and it's like totally normal to walk into a store like that, no camera's going to know. Like, this is the time to start robbing, right?
So they, in a time where you can go into a store with a mask,
They cut 2 holes. They scooped all the insides of watermelons out. They cut 2 holes for the eyes, and they put the
Is it weird that I really want to see what a watermelon would look like on my head? Like, that's my first go-to, is I kind of want a watermelon hat.
It's surely very slippery and gross and disgusting.
Also, did they have ear holes cut out? Because I couldn't imagine what it sounds
It
like.
is not a practical piece of clothing to be trying to rob a store with.
Yeah, because if you think about holding your hands over your peripheral, did I say that word right?
And it's-
Peripheral is way off. I'm not even high. I just gotta put that out there. I just can't say that word.
I swear we have some sort of mental connection, though. And if ever I'm a little high, Kim's a little high. But yeah, it's so impractical. They could have covered with the mask, put on some sunglasses, a hat.
Okay, but then go back. So they got caught because they kept wearing them when they left the store?
Okay, so somehow, that is until Sunday, when authorities arrested 20-year-old Justin Rogers in connection with what the Post deemed the melon drama. Some dad's writing this stuff. Gold. Roger was booked on 3 charges: misdemeanor larceny of alcohol, misdemeanor possessions of alcohol by an underage person, not 93 years old, and felony prohibition of wearing a mask face covering in public. Question mark. So
Pennsylvania. Yeah. Pennsylvania's kind of weird. I bet they got some like weird old laws that they're like, we're going to slap everything we got on watermelon head.
But again, one of the charges was because he wore this ridiculous thing when he could have wore a mask. He was supposed to be wearing a mask. What if he just was wearing that, as his protection for corona, and then just last minute thought about robbing?
I like to think that's how it went, because I can't comprehend him with a friend being like, yo, if we wore watermelon heads, they'd never know it was us.
But on the other hand, so they caught the one person. Police are still on the lookout for a second person. So maybe not bad. How did they? I don't know how they pinpointed. It didn't say how they figured out who Watermelon Head was. I think he's going to give up his friend.
Well, the name Justin totally narks on his friend.
Yeah,
He's a
fucking
snitch.
Justin. We're trying to cut all Justins out of our fan base right now. Because, of course, we need like one sexual-based thing in here, right? So, South Korean soccer team used sex dolls to fill empty stadium.
Where they are sex dolls? That's where we can sell them.
FC Seoul placed 30 mannequins around its stadium for a game against something else I can't pronounce, another team, adding signs of life to stands to avoid spectators because of the coronavirus. The Seoul club said it believed the figures were ordinary mannequins. They're just like, ordinary mannequins have giant tits and stand like this, right? The action on the field must not have been that great. People watching quickly noticed that some of the fake fans wore clothing advertising sex toys, and that many of them were especially busty. And then the BBC noted pornography is banned in South Korea. So they're very
Really?
sensitive about this stuff.
Okay, so I got a lot of things here. Why only 30? Like, is that all they could order?
I mean, depending on them, the real deal I bet ain't cheap.
Well, because I also know before we made our own sex dolls, we would order them online, and they were really hard to get in bulk.
And we just had blow-up ones. I
Yeah.
saw a picture of this. These were like...
Those like rubbery ones.
Yeah. And so go back a little. Of course, I was drawn to this because we have history with sex dolls.
I can't wait for that to be pulled out of context.
So for those of you who've seen us play in the last year or two, or maybe even more, I don't
feel
know.
like we've been doing it for 5 years now.
Time flies, but we've been throwing inflatable sex dolls off stage. And at first, we were just buying off the shelf ones. Do you remember what their names were?
I know one was Tammy and one was John.
And I remember someone from our manager's office talking about loving hearing Dickie on the phone saying, "No, we have enough Tammys. We need to get more Arnolds. Like we needed more of the dude ones or something." Who were terrifying. They had these horrible faces.
Didn't the dude one have like a really like painted on
yeah.
stash? It was so creepy.
So we decide, you know what? We're going to make our own sex dolls. I mean, I think this was mainly Kim's decision. And they're going to have our faces on them. And so we took pictures of our faces and they were terrifying. They are terrifying.
Also, I think it's pretty funny when you're at the moment where like, you know, you're doing band stuff, and that band stuff means that you have to take a photo and crop everything out so you can send it to the sex doll manufacturing place to put your face on a doll. Like, I'm going to say highlight of our career.
No, here was the highlight, was when we got the sample back, and they were fuckable because they had buttholes.
But I didn't have a vagina. I had a butthole, but no vagina.
And so we had to make a note. Guys, can you please, can you remove the buttholes? Because we're going to be throwing these into all ages audiences. We feel like there's a line. You can't actually bang it. Mine had a penis, but that thing was a...
It would go limp real quick, so it was probably pretty realistic.
Damn. Harsh. So the other note we had was, can we have Kim's breasts on the blow-up doll be smaller? Because they were large. And
also, if anyone has come to a show, you know I'm super proud of my itty-bitty titties. So, like, when we got them, I'm like, these flotation devices are not me. Like, they're basically like the size of my head if I put two of my heads on my titties.
And upon requesting this, they were like, no one's ever asked us to make the boobs smaller before. Can't do it. They have principles, and they got to stand behind them. And it's making those boobs smaller. They were not having it. So given that these sex dolls, I feel like, had maybe large breasts, that's what comes with the turf. But so we had 1,000 of them made, which was the minimum order.
Oh, we will be putting the link below if you want to buy one. I mean, shit. People are stuck in the house. It's been months, you know. Sometimes you just need to snuggle. And you could snuggle with me or Matt or both of us. Who knows where you're going to go?
Because when you realize that when you're ordering them and they cost like $15 a piece and that you just spent $15,000 on blow-up sex dolls of yourself, highlight of your career. Highlight of your career. But they did see some action at least once. We did the Kesha cruise, and we threw some in the audience, and we got some DM. The Matt doll was definitely in the middle of some sort of orgy going on.
Yeah, the Matt doll got way more action than the Kim doll.
At least that we saw.
I was disappointed. I'd like to think that, like, the Kim doll on the Kesha cruise went nuts. Like, can't inflate that doll anymore. It's just done for.
Popped. Is this good?
Would you rather live another 60 years but not be able to leave your house ever again? Or live for 10 more years and be free to go where you wanted? Have we done this one?
I don't know if we've done it, but it definitely is very right now.
Right?
Yeah.
It's hard.
I mean, I think after having a couple months at home, I could do 60 years at home.
Yeah?
Not
the rest of your life.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I would enjoy that, but I think it's doable because I have a taste what it is. I mean, 2 months you can't compare to 60 years. It would suck, but I think we're both creative enough people, and that like the creativity aspect of it could still be satisfying to be able to have 60 more years of life of being creative and spending time with friends. They would have to come.
That would really tell you who your friends are when you're like, I can't go out, so you have to come to me. And they're like, God, we go to their house all the time.
We just got to make it. We'll get a pinball pinball machine. I mean, it's funny even right now, just like missing tour. I'll drink Red Bull just because the smell of it reminds me of being in backstage rooms because there's just generally Red Bull spilt everywhere.
Yeah, you could never tour again. Like you couldn't play a festival. I don't know. I don't think I could do it. I think I would go hard for those 10 years, like nonstop, and then just die.
Well, okay, so let's bring this to what's happening right now, and I think
we're about to lose it. We're at that point where we're cracking, and it's only been it's been 3 months now, or 2.5 months.
But maybe we get some opinions like in the comments on YouTube or whatever. But I feel like no one is taking this as seriously as we are. I've had friends who are like, oh, we should go do this thing outside or whatever. We can be apart. And I'm just like, Kim's not going to let me do it. I'm like, you do not understand. They're like, well, we won't even be as close as you'd be in the grocery store. I'm like, we've had all the groceries delivered to a closed door to our like front little deck. And then Kim goes out, takes every item out of every bag, doesn't even let the bags in, wipes everything down, takes everything out of its boxes. I'm like, nobody is taking this serious.
I won't even let you help me because I'm afraid you're not cleaning this stuff enough.
As you should be. But because here's the thing is I think if we're really doing the distancing and not letting this into the house, like the only way to do it is how you're doing it. Like it's either do it like that or kind of don't do it at all. And I'm just wondering where the tipping point, like we can't live for another year handling all our business like that. And just like when we went and we had takeaway tacos, and it was such a hassle. I was so excited about the tacos. It's just such a hassle to even like open every container and not touch any of the packaging that anything, it's, I think most people are just bringing that in, opening it up and eating it like they would at any point, rather than every item of packaging needs to be removed without it being touched and washing.
But you know me, I'm like a clean freak. I feel like on tour, I'm constantly sanitizing everything.
Well, yeah. And so I think, again, if we're going to take it seriously, that's as far as you need to go. It's my same outlook on people who I see go to the bathroom, wash their hands, and then grab the door handle as they leave. I'm like, you might as well not have washed your hands. That just voided anything else you did. So, like, if I don't have a towel to do it, I'll basically wait there until someone opens it on the other side.
I do the kick foot and try to hook my foot under there and pull it out.
So more dirt on it for all you people who are just washing your hands and then raw dogging the doorknob. So, it's not 10 years or 60 years, but it's like, are we going to do another year until they find the vaccine for this thing in this same way? Which is like either go out and live your life.
Yeah.
Even with parks and beaches and stuff opening.
Well, you're saying live your life in a secure way. You're not saying just go out. I just want to clarify.
In a thoughtful way, in a mask and whatever. But
you
getting food, just come home and eat it. I can't go through all of that. It's like not worth.
But I heard some people throw up
really
when they get this. And you know me, that's it. I'm like crying. It's miserable.
Yeah, that's your Achilles heel.
Yeah.
So
basically I'm doing all of this to not throw up, or also not to overwhelm hospitals, or, there's many reasons why I'm doing it. Honestly, the main reason is I don't want to throw up. Unless I'm drunk. Like, if I'm drunk, I can handle throwing up because I'm kind of out of it.
New plan. If you get it, let's just
drunk.
stay drunk.
You think Coors Light would send me a bunch
Would
of
sponsor
beer?
you? course, I'm loving what you've sent. I don't know. I would choose 60 years in the house.
I don't know. I think I would go 10 years. I'm dying to play a show. I couldn't imagine if we could never play at festivals or large concerts anymore.
So 10 years. Wrap it up.
I mean, we could do a lot of shit in 10 years. We could make it awesome.
Let's do that anyway. Let's do a lot of shit in 10 years.
Okay, I like that. Would you rather have a tree in your back garden that constantly produces every fruit in the world, the best quality and in the best condition, or a trained dinosaur of your choice to like ride to work or whatever?
Well, okay. You can go to the grocery store, buy all that stuff. You ain't getting a dinosaur from the grocery store. Can't get one. So
It's true.
of course we're getting a dinosaur, okay?
Can you even name a dinosaur? Tyrannosaurus Rex is the only one I can think of. Like, why did you have to remember every fucking dinosaur when you were a little kid in school?
That was insane. I think they just had to give you something to do.
Right? What if you needed to rob a liquor store, but you didn't have a watermelon? You go outside, you go, 2 watermelons, please. Big enough for my head. Then you
just
get the
boom.
best watermelons that fit right over your head.
You
Go
just
rob that liquor store.
Eat the inside out first. You just actually eat your way in there.
So I don't know. I might go fruit tree. Would you sit in a dumpster half full of garbage all day in 95-degree heat for $5,000?
There was probably a time in my life a few years ago where I would have said no.
You
But-
would have said no? You'd say yes now?
I mean, times are tough. You need me to sit in that dumpster? 95-degree weather?
Can't tour anymore.
$5,000? It's on. So if y'all remember, there was a shot in the Daylight video where Kim got in a dumpster, and it was said before the shoot that they were going to get a dumpster for the shoot.
Which we thought you'd rent it. A new dumpster. But they rented it from the bodega that we shot outside of.
Oh, really?
So it was just the bodega's dumpster that happened to be emptied by the trash truck that morning.
And it was a hot little New York day.
It's so gross. I think about it. Oh,
Did I get in it? I don't remember.
you got in it too. We're both in it. Because you kept telling me, stop looking so mad. But there was like, I can't even talk about it. I can't. It makes me feel nauseous. But there was stuff on the inside that was growing. Oh,
So for you, all day, post-corona time, no shows, $5,000, or you got other ways.
I would like much rather fuck 10,000 dudes.
10,000 dudes? That sounds now more like something you just want. You know what I'd rather do than that? Like, fuck 10,000 dudes. That'd be awesome.
I honestly can't. We were probably in that dumpster for 20 minutes. Thinking about it makes me dry heave. It was so gross. I was so pissed. If you could only watch TV shows from a single decade for the rest of your life, which decade would you pick?
There's so much great television now compared to, I think, back in the 90s or something. There just was not as much stuff getting made. I mean, it's known. And I think also it's weird because you're like, oh yeah, remember when I loved Saturday morning cartoons? Like, that was some of my favorite TV experiences. But as a grown adult, if I went back and I watched Goof Troop and DuckTales, I think these are more after school,
I bet DuckTales would still hold up.
or Animaniacs, that stuff. I don't know. I don't think I would. But if I could have the same mindset at that age and watch those shows.
I would pick a future decade because TV's only been getting better. So I want to get on to the next thing.
What do you think is going to happen in the pushing the envelope nudity department, because I feel like HBO, because it was like the only unrated thing, even cable or network all had the rating system, but now all the streaming things, there doesn't have to be rating, it can be mature or whatever, it doesn't matter. And I feel like penises have been showing up a lot more in
Love
TV than they were. And yeah, where is it going to be if we like close our eyes for 10 years and come back? Is it just full like porn scenes for
I mean,
'cause
one
it seems
can
like people
help.
just keep wanting to push the envelope. What?
I just said one could help. I mean, one could hope. I will say before we start a show, if it gives like the disclaimers and it says nudity, I'm
Right.
like, yes. I mean, when you're in a relationship for as long as we have, you need that foreplay.
Well, but it's funny. Like I feel like so many actors, as they become more successful, I think of like the Game of Thrones actors, and they're like they kind of showed more skin in the beginning, and then kind of as they could command more, they like reduce, they less. And I don't know. Maybe I just don't think of nudity as that like precious of a thing to like give away or something like that.
Would
know?
you get like would you make a sex tape with me and we'll just put it out on YouTube and see if it lasts?
Probably won't stay up on YouTube. I mean, is there a minimum length you can do videos on YouTube? I don't know. I mean, granted, sex with your significant other can be a personal experience.
Well, I don't know. I feel like
But I'm just saying nudity. Like
yeah. Like I feel like sex scenes, especially aggressive sex scenes, no, but I think just titties out, penis hanging should be totally fine.
Yeah, I forget what I was watching where they're talking about just the difference between comedy butt and like sex scene butt. It's just two very different ways to show your butt.
Yeah.
And that it's much more vulnerable, even though you're just still showing the same butt.
That's interesting.
It's just a different mindset.
I want to know whose butt was in that Sex and the City episode, if it was really that actor, that I will never get that butt out of my head.
So in the scene, it's like a 60-something-year-old guy, and you see his butt, and it's like old man droopy butt, and it traumatized Kim
So much.
deeply.
Like, I can't get it out of my head to the point that I'm like, you got to keep working
Hey,
out.
I'm
for the
still on
rest
that
of your,
fucking exercise bike.
I know your butt's great. I don't think your butt could get that flabby.
I think it could, because I think, got a bit of muscle back there. There's something I'm working with.
Wait, let me restate that. I don't think I would ever allow you to let your butt get that flabby.
Yeah.
If I'm keeping my shit tight, you have to keep your shit tight.
Well, maybe. Kim is crazy. She's working out. It's quarantine, and she's working out multiple times every day. It's like she's in prison or something.
No, but it's just I have so many friends who teach classes, and I'm trying to support all of them.
No, I think it's great, but
So I'm
I'm
doing
just
multiple.
saying I'm never going to be able to keep up with you in that way.
So Matt,
Yeah.
how do you feel? How do you feel it went recording this a little high?
Not my best work. I feel like it was an experiment that I was willing to take, because making music, again, I'm having like an awakening musically from, getting a little high before making songs. But so I'm like, maybe this will just be like a nice playful mood, and then having to read stuff and stay focused on a topic. It was an experiment that I probably will not repeat.
But it happened, and it's going to be out there, and I love that.
Just trying to make my parents proud,